With your family, you're quieter, smaller somehow. Like a younger version of yourself you never fully left behind. With your friends, you're louder, funnier, more willing to say things you'd never say anywhere else. At work, you're composed, measured, the person people come to when things need to be handled. And with your partner, if you have one, you're softer, more open, but still holding something back you can't quite name. None of these feel fake. That's the confusing part. They all feel real in the moment. But when you step back and look at all of them together, the question shows up. Which one is actually me? And the harder question underneath that one, what if none of them are? This is the contradiction that sits at the center of this. You're not performing. You're not pretending to be different people. You genuinely are different in different rooms. The version that shows up with your family is real. So is the one with friends. So is the one at work. They're all you, but they're also all partial. Like each room gets a specific piece of who you are, and no room gets the whole thing. And after enough years of this switching between versions, depending on who's in front of you, you start to wonder if there even is a whole thing anymore. Here's what this looks like in practice. You're at a family dinner. You know exactly how to be here, what to say, what not to say, how much of yourself to bring into the room before it gets complicated. You're the responsible one, or the funny one, or the quiet one who doesn't cause problems. Whatever role got assigned years ago, you still play it. Not consciously, it just happens. You walk in the door, and the version arrives, automatically, before you've even decided to send it. And it works. Dinner goes fine. Everyone stays comfortable. Nobody asks hard questions. Later that night, you're out with friends. Different room, different version. You're funnier here, sharper, more willing to say the thing that makes people laugh, even if it's slightly mean. You tell stories you'd never tell your family. You have opinions you'd never state at work. You're present in a way that feels easy. This version works too. The next day, you're at work. Different room again, different version again. Here you're calm, professional, the person who doesn't let emotions show, who handles things, who stays steady when other people panic. This version is so practiced, it doesn't even feel like a version anymore. It just feels like who you are here. And then you're with your partner, or alone with one close friend, and another version shows up, softer, more honest, but still not entirely unguarded, still managing how much to say, how much feeling to let show, how close to let them get before the guard goes back up. None of this feels like lying. That's important. You're not faking it in any of these rooms. Each version is real. Each one is genuinely part of you. The problem is they don't connect. The person your family knows wouldn't recognize the person your friends know. The person at work would seem like a stranger to the person you are with your partner. And if you put all of them in a room together, they wouldn't add up to one complete picture of who you are. They'd just be pieces, separate, partial, real on their own, but incomplete as a whole. The resistance to seeing this clearly is strong, because if you see it, you have to ask the uncomfortable question. If I'm different in every room, which version is the real me? And most people don't want to answer that, because the honest answer might be none of them, or all of them. Or there is no real version anymore because you've been switching for so long, the baseline disappeared. That's harder to sit with than just not looking. Here's why this happens. Every room has a temperature. Some rooms are warm, some are tense, some are loud, some are careful. And you, without even thinking about it, have learned to match the temperature of whatever room you're in. It's not dishonest, it's adaptive. You walk into your family's house and the air has a specific weight to it. Unspoken rules, old dynamics, things nobody talks about but everyone knows. And you adjust. You become the version that fits, the one that doesn't disturb the air, the one that keeps things smooth. You walk into a room with friends and the temperature is different, lighter, easier, less history weighing it down, so a different version shows up, one that matches that energy. At work, the temperature is professional, controlled, so you bring the controlled version. With your partner, it's intimate, vulnerable. So you bring the version that can be soft, but only to a point. The switching happens so fast, you don't even notice it anymore. You've been doing it for so long, it's become automatic. And automatic means you're not choosing. You're just responding to the room, to the people, to what's expected, over and over, in every context, without a break. Here's the cost. After enough years of this, you start to lose track of what you'd be like if you weren't adjusting to a room. You know who you are with your family. You know who you are with friends. You know who you are at work. But who are you when there's no room to match, no temperature to read, no expectation to meet? That question doesn't have an easy answer anymore. Because the version that exists without reference to a context, the one that's just you, not you in relation to, something hasn't been used in years, maybe ever. And the longer that version stays unused, the harder it is to find. Not because it's gone, but because you've gotten so good at being context dependent that being context independent feels impossible. The reframe is this. You've been asking the wrong question. The question isn't which version is the real you, because they're all real. The quiet one with your family is real. The loud one with friends is real. The composed one at work is real. They're all you. The question is whether those versions are complete. And they're not. Each one is a piece of you that's been shaped to fit a specific room, a specific set of people, a specific set of expectations. And when you spend all your time being pieces, being the part that fits here, the part that fits there, you stop being whole anywhere. You stop having a room where the full thing shows up, where you don't have to edit, don't have to adjust, don't have to become what fits, where you just are. That's the actual problem. Not that you're different in different rooms. That's normal, that's human, that's how relationships work. The problem is that you're only different in different rooms. There's no place where you stop adjusting, no relationship where the full, unedited version exists. Not with family, not with friends, not at work, not even with your partner. Because even in the closest relationships, you're still managing, still deciding how much to show, how much to hold back, what version fits this specific moment with this specific person. And when every relationship gets a managed version, when every room only sees a piece, the whole thing stops existing anywhere, not because it's gone, but because it has nowhere to go. Here's what doesn't work. Trying to stop switching. You can't. The rooms are real. The temperatures are real. The need to adjust to different contexts is real. You can't walk into your family's house and be the same person you are with your friends. That would break everything. You can't be the same at work as you are with your partner. That's not realistic. The switching isn't the problem. The problem is that the switching is all there is. What might work, and this is smaller and harder than it sounds, is this. Pick one room, one relationship, one person, and try showing up without deciding in advance how to be. Don't match the temperature. Don't adjust to fit. Don't manage what you show. Just show up. Say what you think. Let silence sit. Stop performing ease. It'll feel wrong. It'll feel like you're doing the relationship badly because you've spent years doing it well, which means doing it carefully, doing it right, doing it in a way that fits. Unmanaged feels like failing, but it's not failing. It's just unfamiliar, and unfamiliar is not the same as wrong. The versions will keep running in every other room. That's fine. You don't need to stop being different people in different contexts. You just need one place where you stop managing which person to be. One relationship where the full thing, messy, unedited, not shaped to fit, has room to exist. That won't feel good at first, and it might not work, but it's the only way back to something that feels whole instead of partial. Which version is the real you? All of them, and none of them. Because the real question isn't which version is real. It's whether you have a place where you stop performing pieces and just exist as the whole thing. Most people don't, and that's the cost.